Sairam, everyone. We are on the first chapter of Sathya Sai Vahini. Swami is talking to us about the supreme goal of Bharatiyas. He had mentioned about the state of mind of Dharmaja, who was in the Himalayas, who told Draupadi, who seemed to be a bit upset about the situation, that he was content with wherever the Lord has put him. And he was able to enjoy the presence of the Lord and all that the Himalayas were able to give. He was able to experience peace and contentment. And I think on that context, we had discussed about vasanas, whether we can remember memory and things like that. How to remember God in all situations was a topic which we discussed. So I will stop there. And I will ask the sisters to continue from where we left off. Sairam.
The love that has Atma as its basis is pure and sublime. But since people are bound by various pseudo forms of love, they believe themselves to be just individual souls, jiva, isolated and individualized, and deprive themselves of the fullness and vastness of divine love. So people have to win the grace of God. When a person secures it, the individual soul will be released from identification with the body and can identify itself with the Atma. This consummation is referred to in the Vedas as liberation from bonds, bandha vichadana, or release, moksha. Divinity within each one. To battle against the tendency of body identification and win the grace of God as the only means of victory, spiritual exercises have to be laid down, such as philosophical inquiry, as well as sense control, dharma, and other disciplines of the sixfold spiritual discipline. Their practice will ensure the purification of the consciousness. It will then become like a clean mirror that can reflect the object, and the Atma will stand revealed clearly. For the attainment of the highest Vitman, which is Jnana Siddhi, the cleansing of the consciousness, Chitta Suddhi, is the royal path. For the pure in heart, this is easy to achieve. This is the central truth of the Indian search for the ultimate reality. There is the very vital breath of the teaching. This is the very vital breath of the teaching.
Okay, thank you, sister. I think we had read this and we also had read the Telugu. If anyone would like to discuss any points, please let me know. I think we had also gone through the sixfold discipline, which is needed for Chitta Shuddhi. If everyone is okay, then we can proceed to the next section.
Sorry, Uncle, just the first sentence in that, iti pavitra prema, is it saying the Atma, which is endowed with the sacred love as its nature, to be bound by worldly objects?
Yeah, so Swami, let me look at. That's the first sentence, is it? Iti pavitra prema swabhavamuto kudina atma bhautika padarthamuchalache bandipa badutache గుర్తించలేక జీవభావమును పొంది పరిపూర్ణత పొందజాలకున్నారు మానవులు. So human beings, how they are unable to obtain that perfection, that state of complete understanding and awareness, because of the bondage of bhautika, worldly objects, and even though they were endowed with pavitra prema, supreme or sacred love, I would say. Even though that's the Atma, it takes on the Jiva Bhava, one who is separate from the Paramatma and feels bound by the world. And that's what Swami says. That's the first sentence. And that's because of Chitta Shuddhi. And then he goes on to explain how. Then he also next sentence is talking about what is mukti, that bandha vichedana. That is the cutting the ties that bind is the liberation. Also, Swami has said.
So it's the Atma that gets bound through 5 worldly objects. The Atma, which is endowed with the prema, it becomes bound.
Yes, that's what I think, because it doesn't even recognize good things. It doesn't even know that it is bound.
Oh, okay.
Because I think, sorry, Airam auntie, you have anything to add, auntie?
Yeah. Actually, the Atma is actually, it's not exactly bound, but this Jiva Bhava, when it becomes Jiva, the reflection of the cosmic consciousness falls on the intellect, he finds he is a Jiva, he is an individual. Then, it overpowers the Atmic power and takes up all the responsibility on itself. Jiva thinks that he is everything. So he starts binding himself with the worldly affairs, with worldly things. And he is not able to recognize himself as the pure Atman. He thinks that he is bound. Actually, it's not bondage at all. Jiva is thinking like that. Once when it unties itself from the binding with the body, with the mind, with the intellect, then it becomes free. So that's what Swami is trying to say. Atma, prema swabhamuto kudina Atma, భౌతిక పదార్థములచే బంధింపబడుచుటే గుర్తించలేక జీవభావను పొంది పరిపూర్ణతను పొందజాలుకున్న మానవులు. I think, Sairam,
I think the example Swami at other places gives is the monkey which puts its hand into a pot.
Yeah.
And it holds on to something, and because of that it feels it is
bound.
The pot has caught it, and it feels bound by the pot. As soon as it leaves the attachment to the object within the pot, it's liberated. Though it was anyway free.
It was free.
Anyway, it was free, but it doesn't realize that because of its attraction to that object within that pot, which has made it bound, made it feel that it is bound by the pot. That's why Swami has used the word gurtinchaleka. Means you don't know about it. You become oblivious to the fact that you are free because of this worldly attractions.
Forgetting its own purity of nature of Atma, it thinks that it is bound by worldly objects.
And also Swami, in the next paragraph, he says, Ishvara Kripa Parasina. That is only with God's grace that we give up the Deha Bhava.
Yeah. Bhautika Deha Bhavamu Vidi, Jivudu Atma Bhavamanu Pondunu.
So are you okay, Kalyani? Shall we move? Okay. Why don't we move to the next slide, I guess.
Rather, one more question in that, the philosophical, we need to know that, what is that, please? Go to the previous slide, please. See the philosophical inquiry. That is not part of the 6 spiritual discipline. It's something because it's an and other than, so sense control before that, such as philosophical inquiry.
See, Swami is telling you Tattva Vicharana. Okay, that means you have to inquire into the principle.
Okay, that's an art.
Generally, tattva means people will say it is philosophy. But tat and tva means about that.
And this. Okay.
So we need to, what is that and what is this? What is the difference? But the reality is that tvam asi. The tvam is nothing but tat also. So this inquiry into who you are, whether who is God, that kind of inquiry is also essential along with samadama. This Shat Sampatti, along with those 6 qualities which we have to cultivate, or sadhanas which we have to take up. This Tattva Vicharana also Swami has given. So that is the inquiry into what is that and what is this.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Thank you.
so, okay. I think we can continue, I think.
The Indian Bharatiya approach is not to waste time in discussions and assertions of faith in dogmas. The Indians do not delight in the sight of empty oyster shells thrown upon the beach. They seek to gain the pearls that lie in the depths of the sea. They would gladly dive into those depths and courageously seek the pearls. The Vedas show them the ideal to follow and the road that leads to the realization. The ideal is the awareness of the supreme truth, which lies beyond the knowledge gained by the senses. The Vedas remind one that the non-physical Atma is in the physical them, and that embodiment of truth is the supreme Atma or Paramatma. That alone is real and permanent. The rest are all transitory, evanescent. The Vedas took form only to demonstrate and emphasize the existence of God. The Indians who attained the highest goal of spiritual exercise have all traveled along the Vedic path and carried on their investigations according to Vedic teachings. The scriptures, sastras, contain authentic versions of their experiences and the bliss they won. In the scriptures and in the Upanishads, they assert, we had the awareness of the Atma. Indians, or Bharatiyas, do not aim at confronting a dogma or theory and scoring a victory over it. They aim at testing the dogma or theory in actual practice. Their goal is not mere empty faith, it is the stage reached, sthiti, and the wisdom won, siddhi. The life aim of the Indians is to reach through constant spiritual exercise and fulfillment that comes from the awareness of one's divinity. Mergence with the divine is the attainment of fullness. This is the supreme victory for the Indian.
Okay, thank you. Auntie will read the Telugu.
Okay. Saira. కేవలము మాటలను సిద్ధాంతములను నమ్ముకొని కాలమును వ్యర్థము చేయువారు కాదు భారతీయులు.
Bharatiyas are not those who believe in just words, mere words and philosophies and waste their time.
సముద్ర తీరమున నెట్టి వేయబడిన నక్త చిప్పలను చూచి ఆనందించువారు కారు భారతీయులు.
In the ocean bed, ocean shores, whatever shells, empty shells, which the ocean throws on the shores, they will not look at those empty shells and have experience bliss.
సముద్ర గర్భమున మునిగి శోధించి
They like to immerse themselves or submerge themselves in the ocean, going to the womb of the ocean.
Samudra garbhamana munigi. They go deep down into the
Okay, they go deep into the ocean.
ocean, then they examine. ముత్యములను మాత్రమే కైగొనగొరువారు భారతుడు.
Okay, they are diving actually. So basically, they are diving into the
ocean,
into the depths of ocean, and they search and they find the pearls which are there.
Yeah, which are there. And then ఇంద్రియ గోచర ప్రపంచమునకు అతీతమైన
what all the thing which is beyond the world, which is perceived by the indriyas.
పరమ తత్వమును పరికించుటలో
The supreme principle to attain that.
వేదములు ఆదర్శప్రాయములై
The Vedas are holding up the ideal.
మార్గమును నిరూపించుచున్నవి.
They're showing the path and proving those paths.
భౌతికము కానట్టి ఆత్మ,
the atma which is not of the world,
తనయందు భౌతికంగా ఉన్నదన్న సత్యాన్ని,
within it what is the truth which is present. No, it's
భౌతికము కానట్టి ఆత్మ.
The Atman is beyond, which is not the of the world.
తనయందు భౌతికంగా ఉన్నదన్న సత్యాన్ని,
within that the world exists, that truth.
నిరూపించుచున్నవి వేదములు.
The Vedas prove that.
ఆ సత్య స్వరూపుడే పరమాత్ముడు.
That form of truth is the Supreme Lord.
ఆ ఒక్కటే నిత్యమైన వస్తువు.
That one alone is the permanent substance or thing.
మిగిలినవన్నీ క్షణభంగురములు.
The rest of them are temporary, or
క్షణభంగురం is fireflies.
క్షణభంగురం, fireflies.
Yeah, క్షణభంగురం. Just like క్షణభంగురం, for a minute they come and then go.
Yeah.
క్షణభంగురములు. Yeah. భగవంతుని ఉనికిని గూర్చి
the existence of the Lord God
నిరూపించుటకు గాను ఏర్పడినవే వేదములు.
For establishing or proving them, the Vedas have originated.
వేద మార్గమున పయనము చేసి,
traveling along the path of the Vedas,
పరిశోధనలు సలిపిన వారే ఐందవ సిద్ధ పురుషులు.
Those who have performed experiments, they are the accomplished men of the Hindu faith.
వారు అనుభవించి ఆనందించి,
they have experienced and they have attained bliss.
మేము ఆత్మను చూచితిమి అని పలికిన పలుకులే శాస్త్రములు.
We have been able to witness the Atman, thus their words and such words or declarations by them are the Shastras.
శాస్త్రాలు అండ్ ఉపనిషత్తులు.
And Upanishads.
హిందువులు కేవలము ఒక సిద్ధాంతముతో,
the Hindus just with one philosophy,
అభిప్రాయముతో పోరాడుట కాదు.
they do not have a certain impression or opinion and fight among themselves.
ఒక సిద్ధాంతంతో one declaration or the one opinion, they are not, they పోరాడుట కాదు.
They do not fight, they do not argue or debate.
వారి విశ్వాసము దానిని ప్రత్యక్షముగా అనుభవించుటే.
Their belief is to experience it directly.
వారికి లక్ష్యము నిర్దేశించున్నది విశ్వాసము కాదు.
For them, the goal is not shown by just the belief alone.
Sthitiyu, Siddhiyu, Bharatiyulu yokka uddeshamu.
That attaining that state or accomplishing that or attaining fulfillment is the intention of the Bharatiyas.
Nirantara sadhanabhyasamu cheta
Through continuous or permanent or incessant sadhana,
paripurnata nanduta,
attaining fulfillment,
sadhinchuta,
to accomplish,
kadaku bhagavantinlo cheruta.
at the end merging in the Lord.
Paripurna aguta idiye Bharatiya Paramarthama.
Attaining that state of being complete, fulfilled. This is the supreme goal of the Bharatiyas.
Yes. Sairam.
Up here. Sairam, everyone. Swami has sort of summarized everything which the Bharatiyas are all about. And I think he has talked about the Hindu faith as well as Bharatiyas interchangeably to some extent here. That they are seeking the experience and attaining that state, and they are not satisfied just with the belief. And they do not debate or argue or fight over just one philosophical idea or just mere words. So that's what Swami has said. I will stop here. I will open it up for discussion. Anyone who would like to share any thoughts, please do so. Saira.
It has been translated as, Kranabanguramulo. That alone is real and permanent. The rest are all transitory and evanescent.
Yeah.
That line Swami has used the word Kranabanguramulo. Of course, it is the same meaning.
So I have a question. The Indians who attain the highest goal of spiritual exercise have all traveled along the Vedic path and carried out on their investigations according to the Vedic teachings. Does that mean only the people who have attained moksha have to go through the Vedic path to attain that?
Yes, I think I would say yes, because as Swami has, that's my understanding from the chapter, but I will stop and ask others to share their thoughts as well. Why is Swami making this statement? I think that's a question everyone would ask. That's in all faiths lead there. Swami has, then why, the Sarva Dharma and all that? I think all those questions will come up. And I think it has troubled many people of other faiths. But I will just stop here. I will ask others to share what they understand. And I think Swami has explained why also, but I will stop here. Sorry. Yes, Brother Dasan.
Yes, I am, brother. So this, Swami said, we can realize the self-realization through the bhakti, jnana, karma. So the jnana, you have to study the Veda. If you have any doubts, you have to go through the Vedic. Vedic is the one explaining everything about the God, how you can merge with him. You are not the body, you are the Atma. In order to do that one, what you have to do? So just for an example, if I say this is my hand, so that means my hand means you are pointing out the Atma. So the Vedic is the one explained properly to follow the procedure, and you can deep into the ocean and get the pearl. When you are talking about religion, it's a surface. When you are spiritual, you have to go into the deep, deep, deep. And Vedic have explained so many things, so many people attain the self-realization. So this is the easy one. Not easy one. Then if you then it will give you the faith, and in order to follow and practice, and you attain the goal. Thank you.
Sairam, brother, just a clarification. I just want to understand. You said it's religious and spiritual. Are you differentiating both?
Yes, religion is a surface, and spiritual, you are going to the deep. And
So, brother, I think I would like to quote Swami from other discourses where Swami has said, religion means experience also. There's no difference. Actually, there was a discourse, series of questions people had asked Swami in January 2000. You can pursue the discourse where Swami has said, religion is the same as spirituality. There's no difference. So I just wanted to make that statement. Okay, Sairam.
Sairam, brother.
Because the thing is, I will just leave it at that. If any Sai Satish, you have something to say, please go ahead.
Saramana. This is with regard to the Vedic way of life and essencing God through the Vedas, and where it stems from is the fact that it is not about one individual's experience, but as we know that the Vedas, basically the saints and sages, they were the mantra drashtas. They saw this. We know that Vedas are the breath of God. And in terms of how this Vedic way of life, if it goes back to not something that is 5,000 or 10,000 years old, but it's way more than that. So in terms of what other religions come to draw upon their own existence or their own understanding of God, many of it ultimately merges in this ocean of Vedic life. So even as rivers and ponds and many others can, rivulets can come off this, but in essence, they all merge in that understanding of what Vedas present as God. And that is where essencing God ultimately means essencing God through the Vedas, because it is literally like Vedas being the superset of all knowledge and wisdom. And name a path, name a dogma, all of it has been, it becomes a part of it in the Vedic wisdom of essencing God. So from that overarching piece of it being the grand and royal road that has been essenced by the sages and seers across time, which is spread over not just Kali Yuga, it goes across like Krita, Treta, Dwapara, all of the ages, and looking at it, it presents as what Swami says, the royal road to realizing God.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Sister Narmada, you had something to say.
No, I think brothers just touched on it, because I also had the same question that Sugi asked, and reading further in the lines, the awareness of Atma, I think so. The path that helps you become aware of the Atma, is that kind of the answer? And I think that brother kind of touched on it. So yeah, I'm a bit confused as well. Maybe I'll just wait for others to explain.
What's your question? Can you repeat?
No, the same question as Sugi asked, and then you said your Swami Das goes on to explain it, and I think the second two lines, I guess it's the the people who, or the Indians who followed us, basically say we had the awareness of Atma. I think that the conclusion. That's kind of my question.
Okay.
I don't know if I am
Okay, that's
verbalizing
fine.
it correctly.
Okay, silence. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Brother, the Veda shows the path kind of things. I realized when I was studying the Sri Rudra. In the Sri Rudram, it's asking us to see the Lord in everywhere, everything. And so that way, for that to realize, for us to, so to see God in everywhere, you have to see God, like you have to understand that Lord pervades everywhere. So that gives the mindset to contemplate on the Lord and think always someone is looking over you and he's around you. Kind of the feel comes. So that will allow you to realize that divinity is within you also. So that's by learning this Vedas itself, you are trying to know more and more about yourself. So I always think that Veda always give a understanding of that. So it's just a basic, we are studying itself, just started itself, we can feel it. So I truly believe that's the way to. That's my thinking. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. Yes, Auntie Saku.
Yeah, the Sairam, the Shastras, they say about the experience of the people who followed the Vedas and the bliss they won. So there is a authentic result is being shown in the Shastras that when you follow Veda path, you will also diligently you have to follow it for you to have those experiences and win the bliss. It is coming in the second sentence or third sentence.
Yes. Thank you very much, Auntie.
You're welcome.
See, I just wanted to read something. Just because I made a statement, so I should not. Kalyani, can I just share something and then we'll come back because we are talking about religion, and I think sometimes there's a common misunderstanding of what is religion, what is spirituality. So I thought, I rather than me saying something, I wanted to share something. So give me a minute so people can read it. It's a discourse Swami gave on the 21st of November, 2001. Okay, can you all see it? Is it legible enough? So this is a discourse.
I think you have to zoom in.
Pardon?
Zoom in, I mean.
It is surprising to me to know that.
Can you see it? No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it legible enough?
It's legible.
Yeah,
It's
we
legible.
can read it.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so is it better?
Yeah, this one is better.
Yeah.
Okay, so Swami, so it was a conference for all, I think from all Sathya Sai schools. People had gathered, and so Swami had told them, any questions you want, you write and give, I will give answers. So the first question which Swami is talking about is, I'll just read it. Because I don't want anyone to say, Brother Aruno said, so. So the first question somebody has asked, what is the relation between religion, spirituality, and educare? Okay, and Swami says, embodiments of love. It is surprising to me to note that you have been unable to recognize the relation between religion, spirituality, and educare. first and foremost, understand what religion is. Religion is realization. Only when you realize the truth about yourself will you understand what religion is. Spirituality is not merely singing bhajans, performing worship, going to temples or pilgrimages, or undertaking any other good activity. Spirituality is recognizing oneness of all beings. Here's an example. When we close our eyes, we cannot see anybody, but the moment we open them, we can see thousands of heads in this hall. Where have these heads come from? If you inquire into the truth, you will recognize that your eyes notice all the heads, all heads. They have not come from anywhere outside. To recognize the unity and diversity is spirituality. The basic truth to be recognized is that there is only one Atma in all beings. The questions and doubts arise when you see multiplicity in unity. The entire creation has emerged from love. Therefore, there is no difference between religion, spirituality, and education. Religion is realization of yourself. Spirituality is also discovering who you really are. So I think that's what I wanted to.
Oh, that's good.
So that, I think, see, these are some of the wrong concepts which have been propagated, especially in the West, in the Sathya Sai circles. Now it is called SSIO. They even floated the topic spirituality but no religion or something. Spiritual but not religious. But Swami has never differentiated. So I just wanted that to be, everyone should know that. That was the purpose. I will stop sharing. Sisters, you can go back.
Oh,
Thank
great,
you.
brother. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, thank you.
Brother, you mentioned this is November 21st.
November
1 p.m.
21st, 2001.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry about it, because see, there are some basic misunderstandings among people, and I think the whole purpose of having study circle is to do that. So I think Swami, so now we'll go back to this, so Swami has talked about Hindu religion. That's also spirituality. Both, if anyone wants to study, I think that's a separate study. So I didn't want to make it, but because I just wanted to point out that statement by Swami. So we'll continue.
Okay.
So I think there were questions by Sister Narmada, Sai Ram Aunty Sako, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to find out this Veda, following the Veda path, the royal path, that leads to spirituality, right?
So I will ask, yes, okay, Auntie is asking, so does the Veda leads to spirituality? That's the question. So I think Swami has said realization is religion. Knowing the oneness of everything in this world is spirituality.
Spirituality. So
that spirit is
oneness.
present in everything, which is what Sister Aruna was also telling. In Rudram, all the Upanishads basically talk about that you are God.
Yeah.
Everything in this world is God. God is who is present in this world. These are the teachings of the Vedas. And
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Aunty, please go ahead.
That oneness we find in multiplicity is spirituality. That's what just now we learned, isn't that? So once we realize that we are that self, we are not this body.
Yeah.
That is that you are recognizing the self in you and the same self you find in others. So religion and spirituality, there it comes. I think, Sai Ram.
Yes, sir. So religion is personally experiencing that you are divine.
Yeah.
And once you know that you are divine, you also will know everything else in the world is divine.
Spiritual.
Spirituality is being able to see the spirit divine in everywhere and everyone. So with that is not possible until you realize that you are also divine. Yeah. So that only can give you the experience of unity in this world.
And that, Sai Ram, that Sister Sugi's question, is it only following the Vedic path only are we going to attain realization? Swami's next sentence, he is saying, we have our holy scriptures. Those scriptures are explaining the experiences and bliss they have, rishis have attained and others have found out. So I don't think I'm not comparing with any other religion. no one claims that we have seen the Atma, except our sages, our saints, our realized persons they have experienced that Atman. We had the awareness of Atma, they say. Boldly they say that. So that kind of statement coming from realized persons, it makes us sure that we are on the spiritual path, and that Vedic path is the royal path. Saira.
Thank you very much, Auntie. So I think I will also add to what Auntie has said. The Vedic truth is one. The Atman is everything and all that, which is in the Upanishad. Then the second, Swami already started in the earlier on in this chapter. There are three things which help the Bharatiyas come to this understanding. One is Vedas. The second one is Shastras. Third one is experience of the people, accomplished people. Again, Swami is explaining what these are. He's taking about Vedic teachings. Then he's telling Shastras are the words of people who declare that they have already witnessed. And the text which they have written is the Shastra. And the third one is that their own experience, which others are able to witness, they are also proof of this. Then talking about the other religions, see what Swami has tried to explain is even Jesus or Muhammad, there are statements in what they taught where they have basically said this also, like Jesus said, I and my Father are one. Okay, such statements are there. But the reality is, even though those Vedic truths are also present as declarations in those, there is no good understanding of that concept, because Jesus was actually crucified only for saying that I am God. Okay, that became a blasphemy. So the thing is, Vedic thoughts are present even in those all religions. But the difference in the Bharatiya culture is there are so many texts, so many Shastras in many different words from many different Siddha Purushas who have experienced and declared them in various texts. That's why Swami says Bharatiyas don't look at just one text, one idea, and then argue about everything else. They have multiple thoughts, multiple experiences, which have been described in multiple ways. All this make it a very rich culture for everyone to find some example which will actually, which is what Swami, I think later on Swami is explaining this. So to go back to the thing, in other religions also these thoughts are present, but there are no one else who is able to explain, who have followed the same path and was able to declare with the same conviction with which Jesus said. They are in the Christianity and other religions. And I think that is something which Swami later on also explains. Okay, so it's not that these truths, Vedic truths, are present in every religion. But as Swami, I think already Swami talked, the Bharatiya is a river which is flowing. The rest have taken one or two concepts and they have become puddles or, small ponds by the side of that river. So it is not that they contain something completely different, but in a limited way only they contain, which is what Swami has explained. So I will stop here. If anyone else.
Sairam, brother, just my thought, one thing. See, the Vedas, the Upanishads are based on Vedas. And experience also is covered in Vedas. Like, when we are chanting, every Siklal appears, they are seeing that in that. Even the daytime Pahalmayas things, so daytime they are saying. Like everything, whatever experience, whatever is in Upanishads is the base of Vedas, kind of only I'm saying it. I don't know whether I'm right. I'm just saying like that.
So Upanishads are part of the Vedas system.
Okay, see,
Okay.
okay.
So Upanishads are not considered declarations of experience.
Yes.
Okay, they are what they heard. But then other scriptures which are there, Dharma Shastras and the sages, they are called Shastra category. Even Ramayana, Mahabharata, all of them also can be clubbed into that. All of them are experiences of rishis which they have in their own words declared.
Yes. The
Okay, so
way they declared only, it came as Upanishads and experience.
no,
but
sister, Upanishad is not experience.
No,
Upanishad was Shruti. They
Shruti.
just
That's a
heard.
Veda, right? Part of Veda, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's a
So they are not they are not the Shastra, they are not generally considered Shastras.
yeah.
Veda and Shastra, Swami has already explained before. Vedas are what Apaurushaya, which is not imagination of human beings. They were just revealed
By the rishis.
and that was shared by everyone. It's just revelations by God. But Shastras are what they themselves composed as texts.
Okay.
They themselves composed in their own words.
Based on Vedas again.
They may have, they have experienced the Vedic truths in their own life, and then they wrote these texts. Okay, their collection is called Shastras.
Yeah.
Okay,
thank you.
Auntie Mani.
Sairam. The sentence Upanishads, they assert we had the awareness of Atma. That's why I think she is getting confused.
Okay.
That's why she is getting confused.
I think Swami has not said that in the Telugu, I think.
In Upanishadulu,
see, okay, I think that's it. So
that's why
Anubhavinchi, Anandinchi,
that's correct. She is asking about that.
Okay. Sairam sister. Atmani Chuchitamani Palikina Palukule Shastramuలు.
Okay, so
then thank you very much, Auntie.
భగవత్ని ఉనికిని గూర్చి నిరూపించుటకు గాను ఏర్పడినవే వేదములు. వేద మార్గమున పయనము చేసి పరిశోధనలో సలిపేవారు హైందవ సిద్ధులు.
So, Auntie, if you take that in that sentence, Swami is talking about the way I see read it is Shastramuలు Upanishadulu. Okay. వారు అనుభవించి ఆనందించి మేము ఉచితమి పలికిన పలుకులే శాస్త్రములు. Okay. And then Swami is saying Upanishadulu. So
that sentence was a little,
I think that's what is confusing. So but in other places Swami has clearly stated, sister, Upanishad is part of the Vedas and they are Apaurushaya.
That's correct. But Swami is saying here in Telugu,
yes,
మేము ఆత్మను చూచితిమి అని పలికిన పలుకులే శాస్త్రములు ఉపనిషత్తులు. Both he is saying.
Yes, I understand. Yeah, I understand. So is it Upanishad also their words, or that is the way it's coming?
In Upanishads also, it is declaration comes from some many munis, many sages saying that since they have experienced the Atman, they tell their Shishyas also, their disciples also, realize that Tat Tvamasi, he said in Chandogya. Unless the Guru himself has not realized, he would not be telling the same thing to his disciple. Sairam.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Sairam, sister. So as Auntie has clarified, Swami has talked about Shastras, but Swami has included Upanishads also there. So I think so I am going by another text, Swami's Sutra Vahini, where he's talking about Vedas. Vedas are Apaurushaya. That's why I was making that statement.
But part of the Vedas.
So Upanishads are part of the Vedas.
It includes
Shastras are other texts which are not considered Vedas but written by the rishis. Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Auntie Sakku, please go ahead. Auntie, if you are going to speak, you have to unmute and speak. It's only Dakshinamurti who spoke in silence.
Upanishads are part of Vedas, right?
Yeah.
And it was not written by any human beings. It's the voice of God which was heard.
Heard, yes.
Yeah, was heard, and that is the Shruti, part of Shruti. So it doesn't explain any experience of anybody.
So I think, see, there are some parts of Upanishads. There are conversations between rishis and where they are actually explaining what they have experienced. Okay, so Upanishads, there are some portions which are actually revelations which are there, but those revelations experienced by rishis are also described in the Upanishads. I think that's what Auntie Mani sort of clarified for me.
Oh.
So there are certain portions which are actually experiences described by the rishis,
Thank you.
like Bhrigavalli and all,
Oh, yeah.
So, each time they go and come back. But the thing is, the beauty is they go and find the revelation and come and share. Okay, so there is description around that revelation, but the revelation itself is a revelation, which they experience. So I think thank you, Auntie. So Sister Aruna, I think you also, so I think Auntie has nicely clarified for us.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Sakku Auntie, you have something more?
No, I am sorry. I'm writing notes before I forget.
Okay, Sai, thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. So I think another thing which we should see, one of the things about religion is the religion does not belong to any one of us. When Swami says Hindu religion, it should not belong to Hindus alone. These are eternal truths, Sanatana Dharma. That means actually it belongs to everyone. It's like saying atomic energy, does it belong to one country or does it belong to everyone? So knowledge belongs to everyone. And there are people who are born in Bharat and who call themselves Hindu may not know any of this actually also. But then there are people who were born in other religions, they have come and studied and they were also able to experience to a great extent some of this. So we should understand religion, languages don't belong to people. They are just natural resources, just like air and water, which is available and freely available to everyone. So anyone who thinks that religion belongs to us or that religion doesn't belong to anyone else is also not thinking. That's only in their own head. It's not in the religion, as Swami would say. So I think we should understand that. So I think some of the questions we asked is, it's like, if you want to know about atoms and atomic energy, one has to study physics. So if you can study any other subject and you may know certain things, certain truths, but to understand a particular topic and understand it well, one has to study the subject. I think that's the way I would say it. Just Auntie Mani, please go ahead. Mani Auntie.
Swami has explained the word religion as going back to the source, relegate or something like that.
Yes, relegate.
Yeah. Can you just explain
Religare.
R-E-L-I-G-E-R-E. Go back to your source.
I think Sai Sathya has been silent. I will ask him to put him on.
Once Swami has explained that.
Sai Ravana, sorry, it's better you tell it, and I'm not.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, Swami has there are other discourses where Swami has talked about religion to its Latin origin. Religare or something. I don't know how it's pronounced.
Religare.
Yes. And Swami said that is going back to from where one originated. That's also that is the realization of who we truly are, what is our source.
Yeah.
So that also Swami has told in other places, which is what Auntie is referring to. So ultimately, Swami said the journey is from one to from the place where we echada puttino, achada, like that. Auntie. Swami says, where you're born, you have to go back to that place.
Puttina chotane, something like that.
Pranakotikin, it ends on that. Yeah, like I think Swami uses that analogy of I don't know if it's the Chataka bird or even as it is like I don't know if it's the Chataka bird or the other one, and I'm just trying to see where like I think for the Chataka bird it's the how it pines for the raindrop.
Rainwater.
Uh, yeah, and for the other, I think it is the other. I'm forgetting the name of the bird, which is like I think as it falls, I think it hatches and it then flies back. I think another.
That is Chutti Chutti Pakshulella Chettu Vedaku Reeti Bhuvil. That is the song. You ever remember? I think you are remembering. Chutti Chutti Pakshulella Chettu Vedaku. And they find out the tree where their original nest was.
Yes, Auntie.
Yeah, that's what you mean, I think you mean else.
Yeah, in terms of, yes, Auntie, like just going back to the source, it is ultimately, yes.
Yeah.
Sairam, I just wanted to clarify one sentence that Vari Vishwasamu Danini, that one, and the next sentence after that one.
So
శాస్త్రంలో వారి విశ్వాసము దానిని ప్రత్యక్షముగా అనుభవించుటే.
their faith is
second sentence
directly experiencing it.
వారికి లక్ష్యము నిర్దేశించున్నది విశ్వాసము కాదు.
The goal is not shown by the faith alone. I think faith. So what Swami says is their faith is to experience. For them, faith means experiencing it. Okay. But the thing is, just mere belief is not that which shows them the goal. That's what Swami said. I think, how is it translated in English?
Their goal is not merely empty faith.
Yes. It is sthiti, a stage reach, siddhi. Okay, which is third next statement. So what Kalyani, what Swami is saying is, the faith has to be experienced. But faith by itself will not show them the final goal. So for they understood the faith has to be experienced. For example, if you think you are divine, that alone is not going to show you the ultimate. You have to experientially understand it for you to reach that goal.
I'm trying to think, because I mean, I think Swami talks so much about Shraddha, like Shraddha Vandabate Jnanam and all of that. So I thought by holding on to the faith, eventually you'll be able to reach the goal. Or...
Yes. So, but then they are not merely satisfied with just having the faith.
Okay.
They have to strive to have that experience. Okay.
So what is it? Yeah. So somebody who just has the faith, but they're not striving for the goal, like what would that even mean? Like, what is a person like that going to be doing that's wrong compared to what they're doing?
So generally, so now let's come to comparative religion. The thing is, now I will come to that. See, most religions will say when you die, you will go to heaven. Okay. That's a belief which is not experienceable in your current life. Bharatiya said, no, we have to experience it here. I need to experience that I am divine today. I need to attain liberation while alive. I will experience God in front of me today. I don't have to die and then go, or I don't have to die and wait till, I don't know, the judgment day. Nothing like that. I have to experience it here today. So they have to, that is their faith. So it is not a faith which will be experienced at some future time, we don't know when. It can be experienced today and they have to experience it. That is the difference, Vedas say you can experience it today. Experience that you are God. It is an instant thing today itself. So then they say, Shamadamada, Samadhi, then do the Vicharana, Viveka, Vairagya, and you experiencing it here. So even today, there are people who will say, oh, I'm fine. I see God. Ramakrishna, that's the Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna said, I can see Kali just like anyone else. So that is an experience. And just because this Ramakrishna was an illiterate, some villager somewhere, he inspired many because of his experience. So that's what Swami is saying. I hope that clarifies, because most other religions, other faiths, they say, do everything, when you die, you are assured. Bharatiya says, we don't know what happens after death. I won't be experiencing it here today. So that's why no one should think we are going to attain liberation at the end of when we die. If we have not attained it while alive, and when all the senses are there, we are again going to come back to continue the journey. That is what Bharati has believed. Okay, so that is the difference. Okay, I hope that clarifies your question. Yes, Sairam Sai Satish.
I was just going to say that Atma Vishwasam will lead to Atma Sakshatkaram. So that way, I think it is a step towards the self-realization. So knowing first is to believe and then become one with that belief. So that is the journey.
Okay. Thank you, Sai Satish. Yes, Sister Suji.
So I have many questions. One of it is, so if you say that you don't have to wait till death, right, to experience unity with God, then what is the whole thing they were saying that, it depends on the way you live your life, because it depends on the way you die. And the way you die, you should be thinking about God, and then you will reach union with God. So what's the purpose of all that? Okay, that's one. The second one I wanted to say was, if we can attain moksha while living, or see the true self, or experience the true self, then how could we be useful? Could we be actually useful to the world? Because we'll be in la-di-da land, right? We'll be in like always happy, don't want to do anything. We'll be like connecting with God all the time. So we can't do karma after that. We won't be able to do anything.
Why do you have to do?
So we just.
So we'll tackle the second question. Why do you have to do anything? See, sannyasis live without anything. The fruit trees are available for food. You don't need to wear fancy clothes. They don't have a need to prove to anyone. So there are people who lead very simple lives also. So most of human activity is actually waste. But human beings will not accept it. But that's the worldly view. You have to do something beneficial for society. It's not that the sannyasis who, I think later on Swami is tackling some of this, so I don't want to discuss. But in other discourses, Swami has talked about that. So Jnani also will perform actions, but for the sake of giving that experience of divinity, for them, that's the most important thing, primal thing. And Swami has given many stories. I don't want to spoil. I will ask others to share their thoughts. Yes, Sister Aruna. So I think there are two questions which Sister Suji has posed. If you have any questions, you want to your own questions or answers.
This something, the faith, brother, just without experience, I think it's an empty word. Am I right? Just saying faith. If you don't experience something with your faith, that I see like there's no faith. If you don't experience it, there's no faith. That's one of the thing I think in the discussion, I think. So you wait for the die. What is die is the question. We are talking about the body dying, but so the happiness, wait for the last minute, all kind of things. We are talking about the die of our body. But our Atma continue our journey until we reach the Lord, right? So
I think so. Yes, sister. So I think
That's the way I am thinking. That
So
is,
are you answering the first question of Sister Suji, which
yeah,
is
the faith of
so
without experience. I find
will
with the discussion only, I'm thinking like this.
okay, I will rephrase the question. If you want to address the question, you can. Her question was in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, the final thought of you, if it's on me, you will reach me.
Yes.
That's what Krishna has said. If when Krishna has said that, then why are we saying that in this life itself you should experience? That's the question. Okay, because I made this bold statement.
While living, while living.
While living, you will attain that to call Krishna at the end of the life.
Yes.
Otherwise, you won't be able to call. That's where I'm thinking myself. Otherwise, without experience in your mind, at last minute you cannot say that word. That's
I see. I think Suji is taking. I will just clarify again once more for anyone else.
Yeah,
I made this statement that we have to be liberated while alive.
yes,
Not when we die.
yeah,
Okay. So I think her question is, if Krishna has assured that when you die, when you think of God, you will reach. Okay. So you don't have to experience it in this life while alive. That was her question. She feels that we have to be very productive in the world so that the world will benefit with our existence. At the end, we think of God and we go to God. So you can come back. I think you have dropped your hand, so you'll have to wait for your turn. I will go
yes.
to Sister Narmada.
Sorry, and I had a question, but I think I just wanted to share something that what Arunati basically just said, that you have to have the faith. I look at faith as firm belief and surrender. That is what faith means to me. So if you don't have that firm belief and surrender, then you won't see. That doesn't necessarily means experiencing it. And going back to the experience question, and when you say you are liberated, right? When you become one with God. My question is, when you become one with God, how can you come back and claim that I see God? Because the moment you say I see, again that your duality is coming now. If you are one with God, you don't separate yourself, and you don't identify yourself with the body. That's how I see it. So how can you then, where that I come and claim that I have seen? I'm a bit confused there about
Sure.
that body and I. That's where my question is. So there.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. Yes, Auntie Mani. Mani Auntie.
Yeah. Sister Suji was saying about while living. I think she is mentioning about Jivan Mukta. A person can get liberation while living, because that means he is completely detached to the whole worldly things, and he himself revels in the Atma Sakshatkara. Now here, that's how I feel. Is she referring to that kind of a situation where a person realizes the self and then he is Jivan Mukta? He is already liberated. So being in liberation, he can do so many things living here. Not that he doesn't do. That question, and then Aruna's question about mere faith is not really realizing the Lord. So that's what she was saying. And Swami here, that sentence is Variki Lakshamu Nirdeshinchunadi Vishwasamu Kadu. How can we translate this? Nirdeshanamu means the
Explain.
Indication, is it?
Indicator.
Yeah.
It will not point. It will not point you to the final goal.
Yeah. That means you have to have the faith to reach that pratyaksha gnana. So we have to have that kind of this. Okay. Saira. That Suji sister, is she referring to Jivan Mukta state? Please explain to him.
Yes, Auntie. Yes, Brother Tasan.
Yes, Sairam, brother. So most of the people think, okay, Lord Krishna said the end of the, closer to the death time, if we say the Lord name, you are merged. But in order to, and you don't know when the death is going to come, what time, when. So you have to do a lot of sadhana and your tongue has to be say the Namasvarana, is not easy. You have to do a lot of sadhana for that one. So, for an example, if I want to put it in a nutshell, Jivan Mukta or self-realization, that nicely, Shirdi Baba nicely explaining when the people are busy, that jnani sleep. That means the people are in the activities on the world we think, but even though jnani is in the activities, but he is connected to the Atma. He is merged into the Atma. So look like that is the meaning of when the people are very active and jnani sleep. So while you are self-realization, only the people who are self-realized, only they can teach the self-realization. So there are people with self-realized and they lived in this world. Thank you, Brother Saira.
Yes, Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Saramana. So when Lord Krishna said that whoever thinks of me in their final moment, then they become one with me, it is not just at the thought level, sister. So it is like, because we know that there should be unity of thought, word, and deed, and that unity should also ensure purity. And where there is unity and purity, then only divinity manifests. So in terms of, we know this Ajamela story, so we will not go down that path, that whole thing. And also the actual part of Ajamela story, which we discussed earlier, that actually it was not just of him thinking of the Lord in the last minute, but then how after he was granted life, he continued to stay in that thought of God. So what in essence happens is, if with a sound body and mind, if we have thought of God incessantly as like our, and make it as involuntary as our breathing. I'm not saying mechanical, but it is with that focus of like not just saying Sairam, 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 but also saying, even if you're doing the Namasmarana, we are thinking of Swami and thinking of Swami in a level that whatever action we are doing with the body is also channelized towards that. If that focus is not there when we are having a sound body and a sound mind, at the time of death, when the mind is in all kinds of shackles and the body is anyway imagined, means it is fully deteriorated at that kind of old age, then how will it be possible to have that unity of thought, word, and deed, to have purity and divinity? And anything we know is abhyasa yogena. So when we are able to do it with a sound body and mind, and have that kind of a Jivan Mukta feeling, where while we are active in the world, we are able to feel that oneness with God, then at the time of leaving this body, that kind of state of mind stays, which ensures the oneness with divinity. So feeling that we would be productive in this world otherwise and have it for the last minute is our definition of what is being productive in the world means, and what is prioritization of that, and then how we relate to it in the end. So basically, when we are unable to do it with a sound body and mind, how would we do it when we are having a feeble or a fickle mind and a deteriorated body?
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. So I think a series of questions today. I will summarize to the extent possible and maybe add a few points, and maybe, I don't know, if we are not exhausted, we'll continue. We have about 15 minutes left. So I think I will first address I will start with what Sister Narmada asked. Sister Narmada asked if a person has experienced and come back, and if that person declares, I have seen, hasn't he fallen from that state of realization? I think that was the first question. Because if that person says that I, doesn't he again limit himself to something? Okay. I think there's a slight difference between person who has realized who says I, and the person who has not realized who say I. So I will give you some, maybe I will give one example which from Christianity. Jesus said, I and my Father are one, which many people they found it blasphemous at that time. He also made a statement, I am the way. Okay. I am the way. So that's why many Christians feel if you don't believe in Christ, you are doomed to be eternally in hell. Okay, this is a standard. So the thing is, when Jesus said, I am the way, what did he refer? Is the second question. Did he refer to the body which he spoke, the words came out from? Or did he refer to his inner self? Okay. The same statement even Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Aham tvam sarva papepya mokshayishyami masrucha. He's telling you take refuge in me and I will. So again, many people may think that Krishna spoke specifically addressing his body. Okay. Then you will ask, then how am I to know who is speaking from what state? For that also Swami has given the answer. Normal human beings will not sing in the battlefield when people are falling down dead. Krishna was the only one, just before people are going to die in front of his eyes, he was singing. That's why it's called Bhagavad Gita. So the thing is, he was not affected by anything which happened around him. Why? Because he did not identify himself with the body. He did not identify others with their body. And when such a person used the word I, he was referring to the self, Atman, not necessarily the body. Okay. So just mere words don't, Swami says the Matalanu, Siddhantalanu, just mere words they don't mean something. You have to have that experience, and you will know that the person is experienced by how they live in this world, how unaffected they are in this world. So that is what differentiates between a person who refers to the body, who is in the clutches of ego, and the person who has identified oneself with the Atman. Okay, they may still use the same language, but it comes from a different person, different experience, different state, different sthiti. I will address what Sister Suji was telling. When you die, you will reach God. Okay, this everyone has said, but no one has really looked at the Bhagavad Gita verse which Krishna is talking about. Actually, in Gita Vahini, Swami has nicely explained. I don't know how many people remember. See, Krishna says one should be chanting the Omkaram and one should be meditating on the Omkaram, which is what Sai Satish was mentioning. What is meditating on Omkaram? Swami Krishna didn't say meditate on me or anything like that. He said meditate on Omkaram. Of course, we chant, I think, Omkaram before bhajans. Maybe some of you chanting 21 times every day. But do we really know what is Om? Are we meditating on Om and how to meditate on Om? These are questions, if we start asking, then we really know what Krishna meant. Only a jnani who has attained Jivan Mukti will be able to meditate on Om and also chant Om, because he has been chanting Om and meditating on Om throughout his life. Only such a person can merge. So many people, but as Sai Satish said, Ajamila named his son Narayana or something, and he called, and because of that, Yamadutas, and they fought, and then he was given another lease of life, so he could continue to pursue his sadhana and one day reach. So the thing is, what Krishna referred to is just suddenly saying Sai Ram when we are dying. Okay, it will not happen. We will not be meditating on. We will be meditating on other things which were very productive throughout the life. Whatever we thought were productive, we will be thinking about them. If we are running a business to serve the world, we will be thinking of it. The reality is, human beings delude themselves and fool themselves that they are doing everything for the good when they hold on to things for themselves. A sannyasi who has renounced everything, has given up everything for the world. And even if he acquires something, he will give it back to somebody. If somebody offers, no, sannyasi will keep it, okay, I'll store it, I will use it tomorrow. They will give it then and there. That's the way they lived. So there's a lot of difference between people who accumulate and people who don't accumulate. So I think those are some of the things. I know it may be random thoughts which I have shared, but I hope some of the questions are answered, partially at least. I think when I will stop here. Auntie Saku, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, we have learned that Jignasus, when they become sannyasis, they realize that they are the Atma and the Parabrahmatma all same. They get liberated, they feel they are in bliss. They don't have any kind of needs, even clothing or food or anything. They are in 24/7 in bliss. That is all they wanted, and that is all they matter. For outsiders, they might look like lunatic people, but they are the most happiest people. They are detached from all attachments, and they are only with God consciousness. That those people have no problem whether they die or whether they live, they don't care. So this is what we learned. I just want to remember and share it with you.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you. I will stop here. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts or questions? I guess that's all.
Sorry, Uncle, just so going back to the faith, so that means we don't really have Shraddha or faith unless we've reached that experience finally? Or
So,
like,
so Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam. I think, sorry, that question was not discussed. So I will go first. Does anyone want to discuss Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam? So how does that connects, or how does it reconciles with what Swami has stated? Here is, I think, the question. Anyone? Okay, I will go. If anyone puts up the hand, I will ask them to speak. Yes,
Brother, can
Prasad,
you
you want to
please say
speak?
it again, please? Can you please say it again, please?
Okay, I will say. So there is a statement, Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam. I think here only we read, no, Kalyani, in the previous.
we must have covered it in Gita Vahini, I think.
Okay, that's fine. Shraddhavan Labhate. Definitely in Sitavan we have covered. Shraddha means that firm faith with, on which actually we are working. It's not only, it's a verb also. It's not, something. So there's an active pursuit of certain faith, belief.
That is one of the discipline too.
Yes, Shraddha. Okay, people who go to Shirdi temple will say Shraddha and Saburi. Okay, but I don't know how. But the Shraddha means that unflinching faith, a determined faith on which all activities are focused on that faith to attain. Only such a person can attain jnana. Jnanam is nothing but realizing that one is divine, one is Atman, and everything in this world is Atman, that is jnana. So so Shraddha is just not mere faith. It's also an active pursuit of application of that faith in one's life so that one can experientially realize that one is divine. So this is the way I understand. So this is another, Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam is only what Swami says. The Hindus were very focused on Shraddha so that they will attain Jnana. Okay, that identification with Atman. Yes, Sai Ram, Sai, please go ahead.
Sai Raman, I was just going to add to what you mentioned. So when we say Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam, there is Shraddha and there is Jnanam. So that means there is still duality. So which means it is still a journey in process. And we don't say that Shraddha is Jnanam. Shraddha eva Jnanam, we don't say. We say Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam. That means there is still a journey in place, which means faith definitely gives a start to the process of realization, which is the culmination of that journey. So that way, faith definitely leads one to the Atmic realization, or in terms of, if I'm equating the word faith and Shraddha, which cannot be done, as Anna was saying, which again is saying that it is a precursor and so differentiated from the ultimate thing of what Jnanam is in itself.
Thank you, Sai Satish. Kalyani, are you okay with the answer, or if you still something?
Yeah. So when Swami's saying the goal is not shown by belief alone, so that kind of belief is not Shraddha, because it's not.
Exactly. Because for them, belief is enough.
Hmm.
You know, many people feel, oh, if you believe in so and so, it's good enough. But Bharatiyas don't think like that. You have to work. That faith is different. Okay, which until you experience, you have to work on it, which is the Bharatiya feeling.
So there's no, like, you can't be complacent or give excuses for yourself. Like, if you haven't experienced it, you still have to keep working.
Yes. Okay. Yes, Brother Dasan.
Yes, I am, brother. To the point, brother. Suppose if we say you are Satchit Anand, but for a river, you have two banks. One same thing here, faith and patient. So faith is there. Okay, you are Satchit Anand, but the patient, until you achieve the goal, your patient is going to be there, and you work hard for it. That's Bharatiyas. Yeah, thank you, brother Saira.
Sairam, brother. Thanks. I think I'll put Sister Suji on this spot. Sister Suji, have we answered? I know you had many questions, but at least the questions which you asked, I don't know whether you may be not convinced, but do you think we addressed some of the questions?
Yeah, thank you. I did. It's much more clear for me. Thank you.
Okay, Sairam. It's 4:29. If everyone is okay, we will close the session. And we will start with a new chapter next week, I guess. Yes, Kalyani, please go ahead.
Uncle, would it be correct to say, like any action that we do in this world, almost like the action itself doesn't have any meaning, or it doesn't matter, like what the actual action is doesn't matter, but it's more the how you do the action and how you treat the results of the action that is important?
When you say action doesn't matter, can you elaborate?
Like whether it's like a big service project or something small, or like that kind of like in whatever way you are, like the actual thing doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I think the state of mind matters more than anything else. And I think Suji was telling, if people don't do, what happens to the world, was a question. But the reality is, people who have realized themselves, just by their mere presence, many things happened. For somebody who is sick comes to them and they get cured. Things unexpectedly, miracles happen in their lives. So the thing is, just the mere presence or in that state, being in that state is so beneficial that things which cannot be accomplished by human effort is accomplished. Is that Swami, I think Swami says, if such a person walks on, people around will be, whatever their troubles are, they'll be happy. They'll be in peace. Whatever we are doing, everyone is actually seeking peace and happiness. Just the person who has attained this, just their presence is enough to give everything. People will forget hunger. They'll forget sleep. They'll forget their disease. So if everything is forgotten, then there's nothing else to be done. So no one has anything lacking in which the presence of such people. That technology, that science is not known to a modern man. So that's the reality. But that's why people who are rich, who are powerful, they also flock to people, godmen. They used to line up in Prashant and Liam. You name it, they are of everything. They can be prime ministers, presidents, multi-millionaires, billionaires. Everyone flocks. Then you will ask, why are they coming? If they have everything and they can help the world, they can't even help themselves. to be at peace. So only a person like Swami was able to, grant them peace of mind, happiness, joy, so that they can go back and do whatever they wanted to do. So, but that is generally not acknowledged by people. So that's a reality. So Swami would say the greatest gift anyone can do in this world is to know who they are. The greatest benefit people can do in this world is to know that they are divine. Once they do that, there's no other great thing they have to do. So that is that's what Swami has said. I will stop here. We will continue next week onwards, and we will go to the second chapter of Sathya Sai Vahini. Sai Ram. Anyone has anything to say? If not, we will close the session. We are 2 minutes past. Sai Ram, everyone. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.